Hey there, and welcome to the Dynamics Hot Dish Podcast, serving up stories and knowledge on Dynamics 365 and the Power Platform. This is What's Hot in Dynamics. You're now joining Merlin Schweiger, Liz McGlennon, and Ashley Steiner.
So my sister was here this weekend. She was visiting from Texas, and she had some stuff like in the storage area of my house. Like I've lived in this house for almost a year now, and her mother-in-law left some stuff for here on her way to Florida to move. And so we're going through the stuff in my storage, and I come across this box that has my Nintendo and Super Nintendo. I have not seen these since I lived in Arizona, which was 2014. So clearly they've just made the move with me, and I've always just stuck the box somewhere. So I come across this box and I get all excited. I pull it out, untangle all the cords, and I plug it into my TV, and it doesn't work. So Merlin, my question is, how do I get it to work? Since I know you hooked up an old Nintendo system or something to your projector, what am I missing? Do I need like an adapter or something?
You might. I was going to say it depends on what cords you have. So
They're the ones with like the red, white, and yellow.
Yeah, the composite. So you probably don't have an input for composite on your TV anymore.
I do. Well, I had colored things,
but
like that matched.
But is there a yellow one?
Yes.
Oh, well, then it ought to work. What's the problem?
It didn't work. Neither the Nintendo nor the Super Nintendo. So I was like,
you have to change the input on your TV.
I did. So I moved it to the input. I checked them all. Like it was like a process of elimination. And then like the Nintendo, it got to like a blue screen. And like there was a squeaking noise coming from the Nintendo, but nothing ever came up.
Maybe it's broken.
Did you have a game in it?
Yes.
Oh. Did you try blowing on it?
That's actually not a bad. I did not. I did try the reset button though, and was very disappointed it didn't work. So then I was like, oh gosh, now I got to find somebody who like repairs and restores Nintendos, which I don't even know where to begin looking for that.
I would have no idea either. No, my issue, I was trying to hook up a Wii, and I didn't have the composite inputs anymore because I had refreshed all of my home theater equipment. So I had to get an adapter that I actually found on, I don't know, Amazon or something, that was like specifically for the like Wii plug, and then had like an HDMI out or something so that I could actually plug it in.
Yeah, so maybe I need to do some research, but I figured our audience, right? There's got to be some people who love like old game systems, and I felt so nostalgic, like looking through all the games and like, I remember playing that, and all I wanted to do was play like original Super Mario Brothers on the
That's
Nintendo.
What I thought you were gonna say. I thought you were gonna say you got it hooked up and you wasted like the entire weekend playing video games.
I wish that was what I had to share, but there's going to be a little bit more time and effort spent this week trying to figure out how to make it work. So my sister was very disappointed because she got really excited. She's like, oh my God, I haven't seen these in 20 years. Because I had them. Like when I moved out of I was the last to move out of my parents' house. So I just took them with me. And they've made every move with me. And just found them.
I'm sure the internet has answers somewhere.
Yeah. I just thought that maybe I could get some answers from you because I knew that you had hooked up something to your projector. And like you were talking about like how the pixels are insane.
Oh, yeah.
And so like I'm excited
my projector
to see.
screen is huge. And so it's like 1 pixel.
Well, and my TV isn't like huge or anything, but it's definitely bigger than anything I ever played a Nintendo on.
Well, that and the graphics are just bad now.
But it's so good. Like it's bad, but like so nostalgic.
Yeah, no, Super Mario's eye is going to be like as big as your fist on your television.
I can't wait. I seriously cannot wait. So yeah, definitely. I'll keep you guys posted on that. My adventure to get my Nintendo and Super Nintendo to work.
Awesome. I look forward to updates.
So we're talking about productivity tools. Great follow-up to our conversation last week about, just being more efficient and productive, not procrastinating, I think is kind of how we came to the idea of doing time management. So what are your guys' thoughts? Like, where did you guys even start? What kind of productivity tool did you guys use to plan for today, I guess is my question.
Well, I'll let Merlin go first because I know he's such a planner.
Wow. Just throw that hand grenade right at me.
Week 2
well,
of picking on Merlin.
I would say these are probably my 2 favorite topics that we've ever had, because the picking on Merlin is like escalated.
right. If I had planned for today, I would have probably planned it in OneNote. I love OneNote, and Liz has told me that OneNote is not a tool for time management, but I feel like OneNote is the way that I don't forget everything. Like, I have like every meeting that I'm ever in that I know I'm going to need to remember something. If I'm doing a discovery call with a prospect, or I'm in a customer meeting about a project, like if I don't take notes in OneNote, I will struggle to remember what was discussed later. And I love the fact that I can put all the little tabs. I got all the different notebooks. So I've got like every discovery call for every prospect ever, and they're all in their own little tabs. And if I want to figure out like, wait, who did I talk to about whatever, I can do that in the search bar, and it searches across everything. I love it. I'm a huge
Where
fan of
else would
OneNote.
you take notes if it wasn't like, I've been using OneNote for so long? Like, Ashley, what do you use for note taking? Like, what other options are there?
For those of you just listening, I just held up a bunch of stickies. This is where I
Ashley.
take my notes, but I do use OneNote as well. Like, I do like as much as I can into OneNote for note taking on calls or like one-on-ones, because I, have the team, things like that. But like if there's like if I'm on a call and somebody's like, oh, we need to do this, like it goes on a sticky.
So those are your to-dos, not just your notes.
Not, yeah, but some of them are notes. Well, then I translate them into OneNote later. So it's not great. But I want to say something, Merlin, to what you said is like, sorry, Liz, you look like you wanted to say something.
Go first and I'll say it after.
Okay. So Merlin, you said that like, it's not where I keep my time. Like OneNote's not where I like manage my time and things like that. But I feel like productivity is more than just managing your time. Like it's managing your workload, setting your tasks. Maybe like you need something to do videos or project planning. Like I know that we all do projects and work on a project-based system. So I feel like productivity isn't just managing time. So I agree with you that like OneNote is a productivity tool because it's how you stay productive on your notes. And Liz was probably going to say something way more interesting. So
I was going to say, is it an efficient use of time to write things down like twice?
Yes.
Why?
Short answer.
She'll really remember.
Oh, you said efficient or inefficient?
Efficient.
Oh, no, I thought you said inefficient. No, it is not. Well, I will say that doing it twice helps me remember more often, because like I'm handwriting it. It is proven that if you handwrite stuff, you're more likely to remember than if you type it. So I will say that the repetition is nice, but based on our conversation last week, Liz, you actually mentioned Planner. As like a way to set up like to-dos or just notes on to-dos and things like that. So I've actually been working this last week to transition my sticky notes. All of these have actually been entered. I kept them just for today, but I've actually transferred them all into Planner, and I'm starting to like organize my life that way. And hopefully we'll use stickies a lot less.
Nice. So what else the other thing you need to use with Planner is the to-do app. Yeah. So like the to-do app takes if you do tasks in Outlook or like flag an email in Planner, and you can just add tasks right in to-do if you want, but it basically takes like any to-do in any office product and like rolls them up to one list for you.
Wow.
And there's some like cool filtering and like searching you can do in there. And so like once you get used to Planner, I don't know if you ever like flag emails or do Outlook tasks. If you don't, then it's probably not super helpful. But at the very least, it rolls up if you have multiple Planner boards, it rolls all that stuff into one list, which is nice too.
Yeah, I that's definitely going to be phase 2. I'm very incremental. I'm trying to stop use stickies first. That's my first objective.
If I had to write a sticky, I'd have to like rummage around in here to even find a pad of sticky notes.
Oh, I've got one right, like literally right here. It's a whole new one.
Oh,
and what's funny is that,
nice.
So my sister was here this weekend, like I said, and she saw me using stickies. So she ordered me stickies that have like full stick on the back, because like my stickies have stopped sticking to my desk or like my monitor and stuff. So she's like, oh, you need these like full sticky ones. So I'm about to get like hundreds of new stickies, and I'm trying so hard not to use them, but
what I like Like what I like about OneNote and Planner is just like how easy it is to find stuff. Like if I'm picturing like Post-it notes or like a paper notebook, like you can't search, like you don't know where that note is. Like you have to look through it all to find it. But like with technology, you can filter, you can search, and I think it's so much easier. Even if your OneNote is like unorganized, you can still find what you're looking for because you remember like the topic or the words that you probably took down like in your notes.
Well, and what you said there is like it's maybe unorganized, but it's a lot easier to organize after the fact than like rewriting a page of notes.
Yeah,
so you
like,
could easily cut and paste and like
Yeah.
move things around, where that too is just like a great time
Mhm.
management or productivity and improvement.
I found out about something really cool. I have not tried it, so I do not know how well it works, but I was told that you can do custom tags in OneNote and trigger a Power Automate flow based on it. So like if you tag something like a user story, like it could create a user story in DevOps, for example, or basically anything that connects to Power Automate. And I thought, I have not tried to build it, but I had not heard of that use case. And I'm like, that sounds pretty cool.
I feel like that's something we all have to try and then give our reviews on how it went.
I was going to say, now I could still use OneNote to create my to-do list, but then have it feed itself to Planner for me so that I don't
You
have to do it all day.
could. Yeah, you should try that. Ideas.
Yeah, so you guys have used DevOps, right? Azure Devops. Is that
A little bit.
something for your projects? How I mean, I've never used it. We use Jira
It's
internally.
equivalent.
Okay.
Yeah. It's all about consistent use and like setting the right expectations on how to use it. So it's a good tool if used properly, but it's not helpful if you don't use it well or like use it consistently.
Does it track time?
It
every
can.
time.
Yep. Yeah, you can do estimates on whatever item that you're working on. And you could do story points too, or like t-shirt sizes. Like it's pretty customizable. So like some places have like a custom template. So it really just, you can estimate any way that like you want to, basically. And does like burn down charts, so you can see like how much is left for a sprint.
That's cool.
Mhm.
Does it help with capacity? Because I would say that's one of the biggest struggles I think people have is even if they're using tools, like I look at my calendar for the week and I probably have 3 hours that are not scheduled in meetings. So it's like, how do you actually get your work done?
Yeah,
So-
so there's
so I just
resources in
wonder about
there.
capacity.
Yeah, so you put all your people in and then you say how much time they have to work. And so assuming that all their to-dos are in there, you can say like, Ashley only has 3 hours to build this week, so we're going to give her 3 hours worth of work from DevOps. So yeah, I can do that, assuming
That's
that all
cool.
that data is accurate and in there.
Right.
Yeah.
When I think that that's a big key, right? Is that it takes time and effort to keep up your productivity tool in order to keep you efficient. Like it's not just something you can let go of. This is what I always tell my salespeople. They're like, oh, I don't want to work in Dynamics because it's out of date and it's not like relevant. And I'm like, well, if you would do just a little bit every day, it would stay up in touch with you, spend 15 minutes a day, 20 minutes a day, whatever it is. And then the data won't go stale. I think it's the same practice for us, like when we're working with a tool to keep us productive.
Yeah, you have to ingrain it in your process. Like if it's this extra thing to do at the end of the day, it's not going to be used well.
So what about the greatest productivity tool of all, guys? Microsoft Excel.
I thought you were going to say Outlook, because like Outlook is like the first CRM
no.
people say.
No. Outlook is an active inhibitor of productivity.
Because of the email part
Email.
or because of the, okay.
Mostly because of the emails. Although I would be lost without my calendar, I'll admit. But no, I feel like Excel, right? Like everybody everywhere in every business is like, oh, yeah, I didn't have any better way to track that, so I put it in a spreadsheet. Like it's in Excel, right? Like, I don't know. I have to assume that everybody uses Excel. You were talking before about like project planning, Excel, estimating, probably Excel. I don't know. Everything you do is in Excel, isn't it?
Well, yeah, I would say like even a company I worked at, they did like resourcing in Excel. Like they didn't use a tool for it. We planned all of our resourcing through Excel. So I agree, but I don't agree that it's the best tool.
I think it's
I should modify
overused.
that. It is the most popular productivity tool. That does not mean it's the best.
Yeah. I guess I don't even
Fair.
know how to respond to that. Like, it's true, but I mean, I've been so far removed from using Excel for things like that, intentionally.
Sure. No,
What
that
about you,
makes sense.
Merlin? Do you guys use Excel, or do you use Excel for anything like that?
Of course. I mean, everybody's got an Excel spreadsheet. And even though like part of my whole like sales pitch coming into a company is like, I'm here to find and kill your Excel spreadsheets and turn them into Power Apps or like real things. There's some saying about the cobbler's children is always the last to get shoes. So as the cobbler, my children are the last to get the Power Apps that they want, because of course we're busy building Power Apps for everybody else. So yeah, we do stuff in Excel. And I feel like that's sort of the catch-22 of business. Is like, oh, well, Excel is fast and easy, and you know that you should do it in some other tool because it'll be better, but I don't have that kind of time. I'll just slap it into a spreadsheet.
But it's true, because like everybody knows Excel, right? Like when you come into your first job right out of college, I mean, even in college, everybody knows how to use Excel. So it's probably like the easiest thing for people to adapt to when they're coming in and say, oh gosh, I need to plan my time. So I'm going to just make a bunch of lists in Excel or something, or, oh, I need to fill in like the times. I think that's probably just the most, like the one that people have the most knowledge on.
I
will
thought
say-
that too. Tom and I were talking about this last night though, because he was telling me about Monday getting or going public or something. And he's like, it's like a better version of Excel. And I'm like, what do you mean? I'm like, I don't know anyone that uses Monday. And he's like, well, Excel is so unuser friendly. And I'm like, I've never heard anyone say that before. I'm like, Excel is like, again, one of the most popular tools in a business.
But I also
But
wonder if
he's G Suite though. So like he's not really ever worked with the Microsoft stack. So I guess if you have Google, like Google Sheets suck, right?
I was
So
gonna
like
say,
maybe
if
you
you-
look for something else.
If you think Excel is bad, use Google Sheets for 10 minutes and you'd be like, oh, Excel is amazing.
Well, and not only that, but I feel like because we work in the tech world, right?
Yeah.
So like, and my sister is an actuary. And so like she's ingrained in Excel every day. But like, I don't think that people have maybe the exposure. I think I forget that, like, a marketing person or, somebody over in like sales or service or something, they're not going to live in Excel like the way that I would, like doing formulas and VLOOKUPs and things like that. It's not as common for everybody.
It's true.
But I was going to say earlier, my boss would kill me if I started using Excel spreadsheets for stuff. So that's why I don't do it today.
Fair enough.
So
I'm not condoning it.
I have a question
Go
for
ahead.
you too. How much time do you spend like looking for something like a shared document or just some resource that you have internally that you don't know where it is? Like, do you guys have one spot to like go for a certain thing and you could just go directly there and find it immediately? Or do you like waste time looking for something or like IMing or emailing around trying to like get it shared with you?
So for those people just listening, me and Merlin were like smirking and laughing this entire time. So I think that should be prefaced and we should say that first. This is such a like horror story for me, Liz, that you're even asking this question. We had a person leave about a year ago and I took notes, right? I met with him and said, okay, these are the things that you do for Dynamics. I took those notes. I have no idea where I took those notes. And I spent 2 hours on Friday searching my entire computer, OneNote, Word documents, notepads. I can't find those notes because a year ago, I was not as organized as I am today, where everything is in my OneNote. Like if I take notes on something, it's in, if I write it down, it eventually makes it in my OneNote. Yeah. So I spent 2 hours. So I know it's not like a company shared document, but like that's literally something where we had a server down and I needed those notes of like what we needed to do. And I cannot find them.
Do you have no idea where you put it? Like, did you save it though? Like, you don't think you put it like in Notepad or a Word doc and didn't save it? Like, you think
never
it's
know.
saved somewhere?
But see, that's the thing is like, I would say that's the worst part about using things like Notepad or Word. Because in OneNote, once it's there, it's always there.
Do
Unless
you
you delete
use
it.
OneDrive? Like, are all your documents in the cloud? Okay.
Wasn't there.
So my tip for you, and why I asked the question, Notepad, if it's in Notepad, you're just screwed. But if it's in OneDrive or somewhere in the cloud and like you somehow have access to it, whether it's your document or it was shared with you, have you guys ever used Edge to like signed into Edge to search through your work stuff?
Like the browser apps
Yes.
that no one uses?
No, but it's awesome because if you sign in with your Microsoft account, it searches through everything you have access to, no matter where it is. And it's like a browser for your work documents.
I'm going to take out a sticky.
It's amazing.
And write that down.
I don't have coworkers anymore, so I don't get to use it, but I discovered it when I did. And I'm like, this is life-changing because people don't know where things are, like where it's stored.
That is really my challenge is that I'm, I guess, a borderline boomer in that even though I have a search bar available to me, I will scroll and click around and scroll and click around and be like, oh, I feel like it's in, no, I think it's over here. I think it's over here. And it's only after I've like wandered around for a bit and can't find the thing that I'll be like, oh, fine, I guess I'll use the search. But like,
I do
otherwise I will look. And I don't know why.
I would say I'm not at all borderline boomer. And I do the same thing though, Merlin. Like I'll go like, oh, I think it's in this folder. Oh, okay. If it's not in that folder, it's in this folder.
Right. Why do we do
okay.
that?
It must be in this folder over here.
Just search.
I have no idea. And then I finally like, so that was probably the first 30 minutes of me looking for that document that I supposedly have. And then the other hour and a half was like thinking of different ways and places to search and words to search and
get Edge for this. I know it sucks otherwise, and we probably shouldn't say that. And
search is actually kind of convenient
honest,
sometimes.
Right?
It's not bad. It's not IE all over again.
Yeah, that's
it's
true.
Chrome now.
Yeah, it's better. New Edge is better.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. I'll give it a try. I've purposely never downloaded Edge. So
Fair enough.
What else? Like, so I know that we work a lot with the Microsoft suite. So I think that that's kind of where our specialty lies in the productivity tools. Like I think of like Teams as a productivity tool, right? Because that's where you chat and communicate. And I've tried to move so much of my conversation outside of email and into a Teams chat. So it's just more instantaneous and your inbox isn't overloaded. So I don't know what you guys think about that or if you use Teams the same way.
Yeah, I was going to say, I feel like Teams is becoming the thing. So like outside of this apparently cool Edge search feature, I feel like Microsoft is clearly trying to push everything into Teams. Like you can just embed Dynamics in Teams. You never have to leave Teams. You just use Dynamics. You can put your Power Apps in Teams. You can put your planner in Teams. You've got all your actual Teams and chats. Like you could just cram so many things into Teams. Like Windows 12 is just going to be like Teams. And that's the whole thing. Like your entire computer is just Teams.
It's your one-stop shop.
Do you guys find it user-friendly? Like, I know obviously we maybe have more of a tech background, but like for end users, like your sales people, your service people. Okay.
It's getting there.
So if you're taking an end user that's had limited experience with technology, like I think like if you're talking about video conferencing, like people seem to think Zoom is easier and better. Like whenever I introduce Teams to like my grandma, like she can't figure it out, right? But she can use Zoom or FaceTime. So like that makes me think that it's not as user friendly as it could be.
Yeah, because my IT director always talks about how Slack, I think that's another like IM communication tool that a lot of people like on the Salesforce side and things like that use, and how like he's like it's just user friendly, like it's intuitive. You don't have to explain or do training on how to use it. And I feel like with Teams, I'm constantly sitting down and being like, okay, well, this button does this, and if you want to do this, you have to go here. So I just wondered what your guys' experience is with it, and if you found the same.
No, I feel like it's kind of similar. There's definitely for people who are not already in Teams-based organizations, like they're like, okay, here's a Teams meeting, then it's a struggle, a challenge. They got to download something, it doesn't work, they can't share, they can't hear, they can't whatever. I feel like it's been getting better. Like when I first started using Teams and you could not pop a chat out, I was like, okay, this is real annoying, because I'm like, I'm in a team and I've like navigated into the files and I'm trying to find this file, and in the meantime somebody pings me and I'm like, oh, and I click on it and now I'm back out to my chats, and I got to dig back in again. I'm like,
I
the
forgot
simultaneous
about
thing.
that. That was horrible. I really missed Skype for a while because I could have like a separate window.
Right, you can
I
have, like,
kind of
all your different
forgot how
chats up.
painful. Yeah, yeah.
That's so funny. I've never used the pop-out chat because I just ignore IMs if it's not convenient for me to respond. But maybe that's just a personality thing.
And I'm on
Oh,
the
that sounds like good time management.
I'm on the G Suite right now for work. And so like I haven't been using Teams very much. Like I've been using Google Chat. So like I don't have a lot of experience with
I was gonna
it.
say, so what kind of tools are you using then in Google?
Mostly Google,
obviously
like Hangouts or Chat or whatever it's called. And then they do
Yeah.
like they use Google's version of like Excel and PowerPoint and Word, which are awful, like terrible. And I'd go to
They're
do
real
something
bad.
and I'm like, I don't know how to do anything in here. The most annoying thing about the chat, and I think this is just an internal setting, but they won't change it. It's a big company. All of the chats disappear after 24 hours. And so I'm so used to Teams saving everything that like every time someone IMs me something and I need it, I have to like save it, like take a picture or like store it off to the side because it disappears. And I'm like, this is dumb.
Is insane to me. I can't even tell
I've
you how
lost
far
so much
back
stuff.
Right, like how far back I reference Teams messages because I'm like, oh, it's just in Teams. I'm just gonna go search in there and find it.
So
Yeah.
group
Crazy.
chats don't disappear, but individual messages do. And that was a really big learning curve. Just because, yeah.
That
Have
seems
you
like a
guys
pointless setting, but
Have you guys used Shift? Like that's a Google tool where you can like bring all of your emails together. Like if you have like personal Google Outlook, it brings all your Office 365 accounts together and you can like customize your notifications and things like that. And it just brings it all into one place.
That sounds
I wondered, so I wondered if since you were using Google tools, if that was one of the ones you guys were.
But I might check it out.
Yeah, it's called Shift. So yeah, I don't know. I haven't used it, but when I was like researching out what is outside the Microsoft stack for productivity, that was the coolest one I think I came across because obviously I'm really familiar with the Microsoft stack.
Yeah. So there was a period last year where I didn't have any Microsoft licenses, so I couldn't use Planner, and I started using Trello, like it's an equivalent, and that worked just fine, like for the kind of board and like to-do list idea. So
yeah, we use that in Jira internally. Depending on, we use Trello for the things that we don't want like the common people or everybody to have access to. It sounds so horrible, but like, but then we also use Miro. So I don't know if you guys have used the Miro before for like the sticky notes and planning and just idea hopper and things like that, or documenting processes. It seems to be a lot more user friendly than some of the Microsoft tools. I find Miro very difficult to understand and I'm horrible at building Miro boards, but
yeah,
it's supposed to be user friendly.
cool. I've never used it. I did use Evernote for a hot minute, like a decade ago. Is that even still around?
It is. Yeah.
It was like Evernote or OneNote. And then I was like, and OneNote.
Yeah,
But not-
Evernote's a big thing among salespeople.
Not the Windows OneNote, the real OneNote. I don't know if you guys know anybody who uses the like OneNote for Windows 10 or whatever. It's like, it comes with Windows and it's sort of like half-baked OneNote, and it's a little bit easier to use if you have a touch screen, but it's missing like most of the other OneNote features. I don't know. It's sort of like an abomination.
Do you
but I have
guys
seen people who prefer it, and it's crazy.
Do you use OneNote like web or OneNote client?
Oh, client.
Me too.
Like OneNote 2016 or whatever it is.
Yeah. Okay. I was so curious. Have you guys ever used like the audio or video feature where it can like find like timestamp things and like transpose audio, like any of that stuff? I've never have. It just always seems interesting.
I haven't used it in a while, but this was years and years ago. I did have a coworker who'd used it in like a discovery meeting. And so he like turned on his microphone in the meeting and basically recorded the whole meeting, and then was like taking notes along the side of it. And OneNote would like match up. You're taking this note at this timestamp, and it would like, so you could jump to that section of the audio recording, which I thought was a really cool feature. I don't know that anyone ever went back and like listened to the audio, But I feel like especially if you're doing like something that was really complex, or like I don't know, only had limited access to these people, and so you had to make sure that you remembered everything that they said, then I don't know, maybe that'd be handy. So actually you could have used that when you were interviewing that guy and then lost your notes.
Oh yeah. Oof. This is such, yeah, that was I like texted him and was like, hey, do you remember this meeting we had like a year ago? He didn't.
Bummer.
It's
So I
worth
don't know,
a
it's got some
shot.
cool features, but
Yeah. Anything else? Like what else do you guys have or thoughts on?
I have another question since we're
Yeah.
talking of kind of like recording yourself. Have you guys seen or used the PowerPoint functionality like that? So you like can present to PowerPoint and like it will give you feedback on your presenting skills, like your speed and your fillers, and if you're reading too much off the slide. And I've never tried it. I've seen it and I'm like, I wonder if it works. Sounds kind of cool.
Sounds terrifying. I don't know if I would want to know what it has to say.
We should all try it sometime and then talk about how it went.
I should. I mean, we have a couple presentations to prepare
Yeah.
for, so we could like,
Practice.
yeah, do a couple like slides or something.
practice.
Of course, you're not on board with that.
I know
No,
Merlin
I
will be
just-
like,
yeah.
just put one slide up there with a picture on it and like just start talking.
If we're lucky, I'll
Off the
have a
cuff.
slide.
We'll put it in there for him. This is Merlin's slide.
No, I was just curious if anyone's ever tried it. No.
Yeah, I
Oh,
haven't.
I haven't. I didn't even know it was there.
Mm-mm.
If you're listening, put something in the comments if you've used this thing. I really want to know.
Yeah, I think that sounds, yeah, I'd be scared to like, cause I am already self-conscious as a presenter. So I'd be like terrified. Like, it's gonna be like, you suck, you're horrible. You should quit your day job.
I highly doubt it's going to say those things.
You just never
I'm
know.
guessing that's not the kind of feedback that it gives.
No, I figure. All right.
Yeah.
So anything else on productivity tools? Anything else you guys use?
OneNote,
Just-
ride or die.
This was a great follow-up conversation to last week. I think that talking about how we do our time management and then also like what we use to do that. So cool conversation, guys.
Yeah, I agree.
We'll see everyone next week.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you for listening to the Dynamics Hot Dish podcast. For additional content and previous episodes, check out our website at dynamicshotdish.com, follow us on Twitter at dynamicshotdish, and subscribe to our podcast for notifications. Thanks. See you next time.